That's a good one to get under our belt and get moving. Um, I told the team there'll be a lot that we can learn from in all three phases. The good thing is we've got good video to learn a lot about some of our new players and our team, which I'm excited about that. Um, Glad we played on a Thursday. Give the guys a chance to recover tomorrow and get a day off on Saturday. It'll be good. But the one thing that we did on defense was really good is we were good against the run, but unfortunately we weren't very good on offense. We were over a little bit over 3 yards a carry, um, and that's I'd love to have that at 4.5 yards a carry rushing the ball. Did a good job taking care of the football offensively. And then, defensively, I don't know for sure, I haven't seen the stat, but I know that we got to the quarterback quite a bit, did a good job. I thought we were good from a penalty standpoint. We had two horse collars, which, we want to try to avoid those, but those are effort plays. Guys are laying out, and those don't bother me as much as a personal foul. I know it's a personal foul, but guys are playing hard and with great effort. We had two of those, which is a little bit unusual. Other than that, we only had 25 yards in penalties. So I was pleased with that. We were over 50% on third downs, which is good, and then obviously 1 for 1 on fourth down. So we got a lot of room for improvement, but get back to work here in a couple days and get ready for the next game.
Mike, any word on Haas and the extent of his injury?
Well, I'm not, I won't give injury updates either way. I don't know. I never will know on those until the next day anyway. But both of those guys weren't in a position to come back. But I'll know more on them later.
Was it your plan to start Zane in the second quarter, or was that mandated by the injury?
I don't want to talk about personnel decisions.
What did you think of the way Haas played when he was up there?
I thought he played good, moved around, and was effective, made plays with his legs, which is what he does. So I thought he was pretty effective. He missed a couple throws, but he hit a couple throws. He didn't get to play long enough to really get in a rhythm, but I thought he started out the game pretty well.
What about your thoughts on the way Zane played tonight?
Same thing. He missed a couple throws, but, he ended up, 13 to 20, 136, not bad. Took a couple of sacks. One of the sacks I didn't think he should have taken, but not bad for guys that have never played college football.
Who thinks Rob Davis?
I thought he made some plays. I don't know. I didn't look at any of the stats, but there's some catches he made. Did a good job. He had 6 catches. No, he's targeted 6, had 2 catches for 75. Made the big one down their sidelines, nice play. I like what he brings to the table. Need to get the ball to 16 a little more. Couldn't quite get the ball to him as much as we'd like to.
You talk about the struggles on offense, and obviously it probably requires some film review, but did you feel like it was up front that the issues were coming, or was there something else?
Well, I just don't think we rushed the ball very well. And when you can't establish a running game, it's difficult to score. And I just didn't feel like we rushed the ball very well. Now, they played a heavy box. They were down low playing a heavy box, and which we knew that. We took some shots down the field. We could have hit a couple more of those. We didn't get together on them. We had a post on the second. I think it was the second quarter, and we fell down. We had a shot at that one. But they did a good job. They played a heavy box. They knew we had quarterbacks that have never played football before, and so they were trying to, get down in there and stop the run and force those guys to throw it and make plays.
Mike, Brian McCoy and Brandon Rawls led you guys in tackles. Wendell Gregory had 3 sacks. All 3 of those guys newcomers. What do you think they kind of brought to your defense today?
Well, Rawls and McCoy have been great additions for us, just from a leadership standpoint. They're very mature. They've been all business from day one since they've been here. And Gregory is a special young talent. He's got ability, and he's young and raw. He didn't play last year enough to even talk about. So that's really the first time he's played much. But he did a good job, made some plays. Guys played hard. Jaleel was good. Jaleel played hard, chased the ball. Without watching tape, looked like the big guys inside. They all kind of held their own, did a good job versus inside run.
Wendell Gregory, just his effort today, 3 sacks, tied a Big 12 record, just his aggressiveness tonight. Can you talk a little about that?
Yeah, he's got a chance to, be a good player. He's a young player for total plays he's been in his career. He's 265 pounds. They've done a good job of coaching him, and he has some ability to get to the quarterback. He's powerful and he's shifty. He can do some of the things that Colin Oliver used to do, but he's 20-something pounds bigger.
What have you thought about Caleb Hicks since he's gotten here?
Who?
Caleb Hicks.
I thought he ran pretty hard. I don't know. I look at his stats here. He had 21 for 65. I didn't think that we paved the way for him much, but I thought he ran hard. Thought he was very physical. Thought he bounced outside and made some plays. Thought he did a pretty good job.
What has he showed you throughout the spring and the fall that you liked about him?
What did we like about him?
Yeah.
Well, he's got ability. He's 215-ish, 220, somewhere in that area, and he can run fast. He's got great speed. I've said this. We've been fortunate. We've got several guys that can carry the football at that position. We played, 3 or 4 of them tonight, and I think as we move forward, we'll continue to do that. But he's a powerful back that's got speed, but doesn't have a lot of experience either. He's young, so he's learning on the run. Ceci made some good plays in the passing game and such tonight also.
With Ceci, is he a guy, how much better do you think he is this year than last year? And are there specific parts of his game that you see improvement from?
I think he's what you would expect for a young player that's improved. When you look at the total number of reps that he's got over his career, he hasn't played much either. And he continues to get better. He's shiftier than what people think, in my opinion. And he's a productive player. Like, sometimes it doesn't look like, it may not be as flashy, but you look up and he's a productive player. And so we're looking forward to him developing and maturing into a good player this year.
You talked about the struggles running the ball, and even though they played a heavier box, did you sense that the backs weren't getting much space, that they maybe weren't making strong enough moves?
Not much space.
Okay.
Pretty cut and simple. We didn't do a good job of giving them space. Ironically, I'd have to go back and look at the tape, but the last drive when everybody in the stadium knew we were going to run it was when we actually had space. We hit it up in there a few times. So, maybe we're out coaching ourselves a little bit and trying to do too much instead of just playing good fundamental football and rushing the ball.
There was a play in the second quarter where it looked like Sam Jackson was looking to throw it with his experience as a passer. Is that something you want to utilize, especially with the young quarterback?
He can throw it, so there's different ways to do it. And we had that play where he can get the football and throw it. You guys know as much about him. He played a whole year at quarterback and on the West Coast, and then played a little bit at TCU. So should be able to use him different ways.
Mike, Haney's scrambling ability to run looked like as a major part of your success in the first quarter. How much are you going to need quarterback, whoever it is, to make plays with their feet this season?
He has the ability to take off and go, and you see it a lot in college football now, right? You see quarterbacks all over the country that do that, and they're defended and they take off and run, and it's difficult. We see it in this league a lot. The quarterbacks that have that ability. I thought Zane did a good job also. A couple times took off and made a few plays, and I don't think it's necessarily just us. I think it's most of us now in college football, with the exception of teams that maybe are really, really good on offense and have maturity and, 4 or 5 NFL players and such. But other than that, teams are using quarterbacks a lot and their ability to scramble and make play. Their guy did it tonight a few times, right? He got them out of some jams. Some scrambles, did a good job. So I think it's always going to be a part moving forward.
How big was that play Zane made? You're backed up on your own
Big
goal.
one.
3rd and 10, he takes a big hit and turned it into
a big one.
that's sort of
I mean, you know, you're in a point in the game where you're gonna punt, and they're probably gonna get the ball on the 50-yard line. And that's a big scramble there. Did two things. One, it extended the clock and ran it out, and it, you know, gave us a chance to move the ball down where we needed to get to either score, or if not, you know, you had the ability to punt them inside the 10.
With as new as this team is, was there anything you saw tonight that surprised you at all? Is there anything that you felt you learned a lot
Is
about?
new?
Yeah, just about the team in general.
I thought that we would have a decent team pass rush wise, just from, you know, watching, and I know that we have decent skill on the perimeter that can make plays. Like I said, you know, I hated that 16 didn't get the ball more, because he has the ability to make plays. And I felt like that the maturity that our linebackers showed, that they would run and make tackles. You know, we used 8, 3, and 11 a lot, and those guys played here last few years, and I think they're better football players now. I thought they'd play a little better, and they did. So, and I thought that our running backs would run good, but we need to be able to give them some more space up front, and I thought that they had a good plan. They did some things. They moved around a lot up front and slanted and looped and doing some things like that. That gives him a chance when they're inserting an extra guy in the box. And the way to hurt a team like that is to throw the ball. I mean, you know, we're not as mature in that area as we have been, you know, for 15 years. But you know, as we continue to get a little better, we have to be better next week than we were this week, and the next week after that. But that's how when you play teams that are going to play like that, you hurt them throwing the ball. What you do.
When you change quarterbacks, did you have to change into how you ran your offense? Does one do some things better than the other? Would you stick?
The two quarterbacks?
Yeah, when you change quarterbacks.
Not a lot. It really not a lot. I mean, obviously, Haas is fast, but Zane moves really well. So we don't really have to come up with a different scheme based on who's in the game.
Zane, and you mentioned it earlier, is that the pressure point you want to see, that adversity? I just remember that 3 and out, and the defense came on the field, 14-7 after that touchdown. Do you want to see that your team stressed, and how they react to that adversity?
Right, so those are things that there's no way to ever coach that, in my opinion. For players at key positions, particularly quarterbacks, to be in situations like that is valuable. You know, it's not something you can coach. You know, they got to get out there and do it. So it was good that he was able to make a couple key plays. You know, the long ball he threw to number 2 was a good, nice play. You know, in a kind of in a key situation. The more of those that quarterbacks do, better they get.
Did you feel like it just took him a minute to get settled in? I think Zane's first 2 series were 3 and outs, real quick.
With Zane?
Yeah.
You know, I would have to go back and I don't think it was him settling in. I don't think we did a good job of helping him. Now I'm going to look at the tape, but the feeling I have, like just from watching the game, was I didn't feel like it was anything from him. Now, he missed a throw. I don't remember exactly what time it was, but I don't feel like we helped him by creating space for the backs and putting him in a situation that gave him a chance to be successful, in my opinion. Now, he would probably tell you that, yeah, it took him a little while to adjust. He's never played in his life, and he's out there playing, but I didn't feel like that was as big of an issue with him, to be honest with you.
Mike, what about your tackling? It seemed to be pretty good just from watching it. What did
It's
you feel
better,
like?
wasn't it? Yeah. You know, we'll see as it goes on in the next month where we're at, but missed 2 tackles maybe. 23 missed one out here on the perimeter. He was in the right gap. They threw the bubble outside, and he was in the right gap, and I feel like he missed one. And then I feel like somebody missed one in the backfield on like a 3rd and 6 or something. We missed him, and they got up in there for a first down. 2 that I know of, but I thought we tackled pretty well.
Did you feel like after, I think you said you were more physical in fall camp. Did you feel like you had a chance to?
These guys work a lot more tackling. than what I'm accustomed to. They go with it. Head coaches always worry about it because you're afraid you're going to get somebody hurt. But they tackled a lot more in a live situation than what we had in the past.
Mike, you obviously have a bunch of new assistants on your staff. How'd you think things went just from an in-game communication standpoint?
Really, I thought it was pretty good. We were awful at special team substitutions, and we have to be better than that. That's bad coaching. It's poor coaching. I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming me. But part of the reason is we have so many different players on special teams now that we have to do a better job of grouping those guys up, make sure they're on the field. I mean, that's not good coaching. But the organization, I didn't feel like was an issue. I thought the coaches were calm. They were talking, communicating. So I was pleased with what you're referring to. But I was not pleased with us not being able to get 11 people on the field in special teams.
Other than special teams with Meacham and Grantham in their first game here in Stillwater, how do you kind of feel about their production in their first game leading here?
Well, the question that he asked, I thought everything was good, okay? We got to create space in the rushing game on offense. So that has to start to take place. Defensively, we gave up a double pass for a touchdown, but I thought for most of the time we were in pretty good position, and I was pleased with the way that things went. I felt like that we were aggressive. I felt like that we made the quarterback move around. He was pretty slippery. I don't know how many sacks total we get. How many total we get? 4. And we could have had probably, 3 more? Pretty close. We could have had 3 more somewhere in that area. And he was pretty slippery, pretty good little operator. So I was pleased with that. But we got a long ways to go. We got a lot of work.
Mike,
Go ahead.
You played a lot of guys on both sides of the ball, even early on, first couple drives. How much of that is something you want to continue to do going forward, and how much of that is first game you want to evaluate these guys and then maybe make some decisions?
Both. I don't know how many we played. I guessed 27 new players would touch the field. I don't know how close we were to that. Guys that didn't play last year for Oklahoma State. Zane being one of them. But we have a number of guys that practiced hard and earned the right. We got to get them on the field, and we have some others. I know there was others that didn't get enough reps, and there's guys that if they continue to earn the right, we got to get them out on the field and play.
But especially early in the game, do you want to, if you have that many guys available, do you want to play that many guys early on? Would you like to maybe space them out?
If they've earned the right to play, and we can trust to put them out there, we got to play them.
Has the game slowed down for Zane at all in the time that he's been here? I mean, he hasn't been on the field until today, but a lot of talk goes into quarterback.
He's better in practice than he was last year. But Zane didn't practice much last year. Zane was hurt most all last year. He didn't practice very much. So, but he's made really good strides. But he's just scratching the surface. He's got a ways to go, but he's coming along.
Yeah, Mike, did you like the attitude of playing a 1AA opponent? Did you like the way you guys were ready for the game?
I thought they came out and were aggressive. I told them afterwards, I didn't see many players that took plays off. I thought they played hard, and that's all you can ask them to do. Whoever you play, you got to play hard, and I thought they did. Now, they'll grade all that tomorrow, but I felt like they played hard. I felt like they were excited about the game. I mentioned to you in the last press conference, I said I'll be shocked if they don't go out and play hard, and I thought they did. One thing that I think is an issue nowadays, it's always going to be this way with the portal, is you're going to have players that feel like they should have played more because there's so much free agency. If a guy's a free agent in the NFL, if he goes here, he goes there to play. He picks a team where he thinks he's going to play and get on the field and all that. Now, maybe he got a big contract, but most of them go somewhere they want to get on the field and play. And I think that's going to be a challenge through college football now as we move forward. You have so many guys moving, changing teams, and they want to get out there, which is good. But I thought their attitude was good.
You've had some teams that struggled or played pretty close with 1AA teams and then didn't have a very good year. You've also had some teams that did that and made it to Arlington twice. 21 and 23, your 21 team monkeying around with Missouri State all night long. So is
We
this,
almost lost to Missouri.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So is this a case of you just can't put too much stock into game one?
Oh, I think there's some truth both ways, but, the easiest way for me to explain it is if we created space and rushed the ball better, it would have looked differently. So I just can't stress the importance of being able to rush the football. It opens up so many other things. And because we weren't hitting decent runs, they were able to keep coming on down in there. So even when we blocked it and the guy would cut back and their guy would be right there. I'm going to guess without watching the video, that's what made it not feel and be as much fun as it should have been. If you're rushing the ball, you're opening up a lot of other things that give you opportunities. Those opportunities are where you get your big plays, which we've done here for 18 years. And then, you end up hitting in the 40s.
Honestly, in a real game, like practices, you can't really see that.
Well, yeah. What we need to do is, we need to, in all three phases, but we gotta be able to identify where there was an issue that was coaching, and then where there was an issue if it just had to do with a player. And then coaches have to fix those issues, okay? And that's the first thing you gotta do in that situation is say, okay, why was this an issue? So if they got everybody down there and we're not hitting the ball, throwing the ball down the field, then we got one guy left. Somebody, you got to make him miss or run through him. And, but we never could get an explosion game going because we couldn't get space in the runs. That's where we got to start, in my opinion.
Is that the fact that you guys were able to do that on that last drive, like you said, does that give you belief that you've got the guys to clear space?
Yeah, I think we can.
Okay.
We can. I think we turned more guys loose up front than we should have. That's my opinion, but those guys have never played before. Okay, so it just takes a little time with that. That's an issue when you're dealing with an offensive line that's never played before. The communication is so important. So coach has got to find a way to improve that and make it better. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mike.